Caroline Ducharme. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I doing a video on Ducharme, as she has only started 16 of 54 games during the course of her career, and she has averaged just under 9 points and 3 rebounds a game, while shooting 43% from the field and 30% from behind the arc. I think she has a chance to play a key part in what sort of success UConn has in the 23-24 season, as she offers a unique skill set which allows her to be an insurance policy if AZ Fudd gets injured, or as well, she's potentially the best shooting big that UConn has to help spread teams out. However, the word potential must be emphasized, as injuries have prevented her from reaching her potential. So in this video, I want to look at her history coming in from high school to UConn, and this will obviously include cataloging her injuries, as she has had a lot of them, and this current injury is likely the toughest one she has had yet. Before we start, I'm trying to grow the community, so if you like the content, please like and subscribe to my channel. All right, let's get into it. Not surprisingly, Ducharme has good genes in terms of playing sport, as her dad, Todd, played football and ran track in college. Her mom also played basketball, scoring over 2,000 points in her collegiate career. Ducharme had the benefit of trying to improve to keep up with her older sister, Ashley, as she would tag along with her to AAU events. She was frustrated playing against her bigger older sister, and her parents told her smaller players need to have a good handle. So Ducharme spent the summer when she was 9 years old working on her handle and being able to dribble between her legs. She then had a growth spurt, which made her a dynamic player, a big with guard skills, and as a result, she started to get noticed in making AAU teams. Her first injury was actually when she started playing AAU in the 8th grade, when she traveled to Virginia to take part in the Summer League tournament. Ducharme jumped up to block an opponent's shot, and she bumped into a player and landed awkwardly, tearing her ACL. Now, a running theme with Ducharme, which you will see, is that she always tries to make the best of her injuries and try to improve herself and her game. So when she was injured with her knee injury, she used the time off to rework her shot, saying, "It was a pretty big hole in my game." Ducharme focused on shooting drills inside the key to fix the fundamentals of her shot, saying, "A lot of times when you're fixing your shot, people don't have the patience just to stay only in the paint and just try to rewire everything." Ducharme said, "But for me, I physically couldn't leave the paint, so it was the perfect time for me to do it." She bounced back from her injury, and after her freshman year in high school, she started to get national attention, as she was 6'2" with a good handle and now a good shot, which understandably drew interest. But then she suffered another injury that summer. While playing in the U.S. Junior National Tournament in Washington, D.C., Ducharme jumped for a rebound and felt her shoulder pop out of socket. A week later, it popped a second time. A trainer told her the shoulder was a little loose, but that it was nothing serious, so Ducharme kept playing. The next day, in the semifinals, she deflected a pass, and her shoulder came out completely. Something was clearly wrong. Ducharme's parents were keen for her to sit out and not further damage her shoulder, but Ducharme didn't want to stop playing. The next final game was against an EYBL team, and an opportunity for Ducharme and her AAU team to prove themselves against a top national team. Ducharme finally convinced her parents to let her play, as she reasoned with them she couldn't make her injury any worse, and they relented. However, when Ducharme returned home, an MRI confirmed that she'd torn her labrum in her shoulder and would require surgery to make her shoulder stable. She wound up missing her entire sophomore high school year of basketball. Ducharme was devastated, saying, "It was definitely like, why is this happening again? I just got back." During this rehab, she couldn't shoot, so she just studied the game. She put together scouting reports on opponents, scouting the clips on YouTube, revisiting old games, and identifying the best opposing players. Ducharme enjoyed the practice so much she continued it even after she returned to the court. As a result, she learned the tendencies of every potential opponent in New England. Being from Massachusetts, it's not surprising that Ducharme's favorite player was Diana Taurasi, and that she was a UConn fan, taking a picture with Gino when she was very young. However, going to UConn was not a slam dunk, as Ducharme knew all the challenges associated with playing for the Huskies. Auriemma is blunt with his players and pushes them hard. There's always an incoming class of players looking to steal your spot. Her mom, Chrissy, though, was not surprised when Caroline chose UConn, saying, "Many girls dream about going to UConn," she said. "But when you really get down to brass tacks and you really look at it, we know many girls that said, that's not for me, whether or not they were going to be going there. There's a different way," but I think that's actually what drew Caroline in even more. She wants to be pushed. Ducharme had a slow start at UConn her freshman year, which she says was due to thinking too much. She broke out her freshman year when she scored 14 points in the fourth quarter against Notre Dame. That is a game in which Beckers hurt her knee. She averaged 16 points per game from 9 December to the 2nd of February, but then sustained a head injury versus Creighton. She missed 4 games with a head injury and afterwards struggled to regain her previous form. Ducharme also battled left hip pain her freshman year, which had been present since her junior year of high school. It was pretty much anticipated that she would get her hip fixed after her freshman year. She underwent a labral repair. Now, there wasn't much on her surgery, but I assume she had a cam lesion, which means that they usually have to shave down the bone of the femur and repair the labrum. At the start of 2022, the focus was on how she was recovering from her hip surgery, but Auriemma gave a quote after UConn's national championship loss to South Carolina, foreshadowing what was to turn into a bigger issue, saying, "Caroline hasn't been the same since she got hit 3 games in a row really bad. All the tests came back negative, but that didn't mean Caroline was fine." He went on to say, "After those collisions, I think she got a little bit skittish about going in the lane, about attacking more." This became a big issue during the 2022-23 season. She missed the season opener due to neck tightness, and then during the last 2 games in December against Creighton and Marquette, she was using an ice pack on her head at the end of both games. She was then injured in practice on the 2nd of January 2023 and missed the next 13 games in the concussion protocol. Then, when she had seemingly recovered and was on the right track, she took friendly fire when she caught an elbow from Edwards in early March during the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament against Georgetown. She was on the floor for a few minutes after receiving that elbow and needed assistance off the court. However, she was able to play limited minutes in the next 2 games following that elbow. She also played in the tournament, but it would be fair to say that she was up and down the majority of her sophomore season, and she has a lot of uncertainty going into her junior year. And this is due in large part because the nature of the injury, as this injury does not allow you to rehab it. She spoke about this saying, "A lot of your rehab is resting. A lot of it's doing nothing. There are different things I do now for strengthening where I can feel like I'm actually doing something to benefit myself. But a lot of times during the season, my rehab was don't be in the gym and don't be in anything loud and bright." Initially, after her concussion, she didn't attend games and stayed back in the locker room as it was too bright. As well, when she returned to the sidelines, she was often cited wearing earplugs just due to the crowd noise. Ducharme was used to being proactive when injured, but with this injury, she was unable to do weight room running or go to the arena or film study. No noise, no jarring movements, so nothing essentially. And now, even though she feels better, Ducharme's at the mercy of her head. Will her concussion or concussion symptoms return with the softest of shots? She is not sure about that, and you could sense that during the media day session, just saying she wants to be healthy. As she said, because it's your brain and it affects your whole life. It is pretty clear that everybody at UConn is rooting for Caroline Ducharme, the basketball player and the person. I think this is summed up best in this quote. "Caroline is our best clutch player," senior guard Nikia Mule said. "She's the person I want to get the ball when the clock is running out. When we need a big bucket, she's the player for those moments. She's also one of the strongest people on the team. The things she had to deal with, the things she's had to go through, she goes through them with a smile on her face and perseveres every day. I'm expecting a big comeback from here. I feel like this is going to be her year. She just means so much to our team." I think that sums it up pretty well. Here's wishing Caroline Ducharme good health in 2023-24. If you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching.